unfortunately, due to my shoulder injuries over the last couple of years, I haven't been able to contribute much in games with my bowling. But particularly, it's been almost 2 years since my last operation, and so I'm feeling as good about my bowling as I have in a long time. And although I haven't been able to bowl a lot in games, behind the scenes, I've been working hard at training, and it's nice in conditions that suited spin bowling to be another option for the captain. And I'm hoping that my bowling workloads can increase going forward from here.
Has it been a case of having to rebuild a bit of confidence in that shoulder, I guess, for fielding as well, but also for bowling? Has that been part of the process? Yeah,
absolutely. No doubt. I don't think I've bowled 8 overs in a game for about 4 years. So, if I hadn't batted in a game for more than 20 balls for 4 years, I probably wouldn't be feeling great about my batting either. So no doubt that that's going to take some time. And, I feel like I've done everything I can over the recent periods. And, I'm starting to enjoy it as much as I used to, and it's nice to be able to contribute in more than one facet.
Just to turn on to the Bangladesh matches coming up now, kind of a lot of talk in the West Indies and as well was about those middle order positions. It's something you spoke about, I think, at the tail end of the Big Bash, saying that there aren't many players that sort of do what you do, really specialise in that 5-6 position. I know Dan's in the squad as well. Now, what is it that you need as a batter in those positions that perhaps is fairly unique to that role in T20 cricket?
Yeah, I guess growing up, most batters train and prepare themselves to be red ball cricketers, and I'm certainly no different. And it's a really modern part of the game, T20 cricket. We haven't seen generations of kids coming through growing up playing T20 cricket, and I think the style of batting at the back end of one-day cricket is probably as far away from your typical red ball batting as you can get. And I think that some of the guys who bat at the top of the order, their game doesn't change a lot between the formats, and white ball cricket and T20 cricket's an expansion of their red ball games. Whereas I feel like for a lot of the middle order batters and guys batting towards the end of limited over games, it's almost a different technique. And talking to guys around the world who have started to, really find a niche as a middle order batter, they almost have to remodel their game and go about training and preparing in a really different way to how guys have in the past as red ball cricketers. So I think we're only going to see more and more of that, and we'll see more guys, as we go forward and 100 ball cricket and T20 cricket becomes more and more popular. We'll find more guys fitting into that niche of middle order batters and guys who can finish the innings.
Do you train for that specifically in nets and stuff, that how you finish a game? Is it something you can practice, or do you have to learn it in the middle while doing it?
A little bit of both, no doubt. I don't prepare to open the batting in T20 cricket. That's not my role. How I prepare for games is very different to how Aaron Finch or someone who's going to open the batting go about their training. So we try and make our training as specific as possible, and that's no different to batting and fielding. And no doubt, there's no secret that until you've been able to walk out into the middle in high pressure situations and perform, training can't replicate that pressure. And I'm fortunate that for a number of years now I've been able to experience some close games and batting in the middle order and trying to finish innings for my team. That with that experience comes confidence, and that's not something that can be bought overnight or found at training.
Thanks, Ashton. Appreciate it.
No worries.
Well, Malcolm Conrad had just joined us on the line, but he's disappeared again. So I'll throw over to Louis here in Bangladesh.
Just picking up from Andrew there, Ashton, you mentioned speaking to other players who have done a similar role to what you've done before. Who have you spoken to about?
Well, the ones off the top of my head, Dan Christian has come into our squad, and someone I've played a lot of cricket against, but haven't necessarily spent a lot of time in the same dressing room as. spoken to him about his transition from playing all formats of the game and red ball cricket in particular to now plying his trade as a one of the best middle order finishers going around the domestic circuits in T20 cricket anyway. And it's interesting to see a change in his philosophy around batting and how he models his training practices, and that's certainly evolved over the last 5 years as his needs and the requirements for his game have changed. And another one, Andre Russell, on the back of the West Indies tour, being able to get some insights from him about how he goes about his game. He's probably the best in the world at the moment at finishing innings for his team, and another one who's playing T20 cricket only. And for me, it's interesting to pick the brains of those guys. And question before about training and how do you prepare, and the message coming from Andre Russell is that he's training as he's trying to replicate the situations that he has in games and challenge him as much as possible away from the match situations. So they're probably the two guys that spring to mind.
Yeah, two really good ones. Is that like just a case? It might be a silly question, but like your first ball that you face, you might try and get the sticks.
Yeah, it's about being prepared for any situation. And I think I've said before that that's come into my training a number of times, particularly in the Big Bash, as my role's changed a little bit over the last couple of years, and I've probably gone down the order a little bit, to be prepared to bat right at the end or to win a game for your team. And there's no worse feeling sitting on the boundary waiting to bat, in the last over of a game, feeling unprepared. So it's about preparing to be as adaptable as you can be in all conditions to all situations.
The last one day, just going back to the bowling side of things, that last one day, there are a lot of overs, I think nearly 30 overs bowled, spin. Looking ahead to this T20 series in Bangladesh, do you expect conditions to kind of mirror that a little bit in terms of a lot of overs being bowled?
Yeah, look, I'm really excited. It's the first time I've been to Bangladesh, and it was the first time I'd been to the West Indies, and I feel like I'm learning on the job, from afar and speaking to guys who have played here before. We probably will expect wickets that are going to be not too dissimilar from what we experienced in the West Indies. And, coming from Australia and particularly in winter, we don't get to play on many wickets that spin like this. So, as a spin bowler, I'm really excited to, have some wickets that offer something for spin bowling, which is not always the case in Australia. And as a batter, I know that we're going to come up against some crafty spin bowlers, and there's going to be a lot of overs bowled by spinners, no doubt.
Has your bowling action changed?
It changes week to week at the moment. I'm always tinkering with things. I never feel like I'm the end product, and I'm always looking to get better. I probably spend too long on YouTube watching other guys go about it and learning from how they do it. So, yeah.
Who do you look at on YouTube?
I like watching finger spinners bowl. We're lucky in Australia that Nathan Lyon's a pretty good example. Probably the best I've seen. I'm just interested how different guys go about it differently. And, some guys have beautiful classical actions and some guys do it really differently. And, I'm trying to pick up as many cues as I can from as many different bowlers as possible. I find it interesting more than anything. And, training's about experimenting and playing, and, some things work, a lot of things don't work. But yeah, I've seen my bowling action in particular change so much over the years, and it's interesting to compare where I'm at now to years gone by.
Yeah. George Bailey got announced today as the new selector in chief. I'm sure you're aware, mate. What are your kind of dealings with him in his, I guess, limited time in this role?
Yeah, I've only got really positive things to say about all of our selectors, and Cracker in particular, who's played such an important role in Australian cricket over a number of decades now. I'm very thankful for his faith in me and for his service to Australian cricket. But looking forward, I think we're in really good hands. George is so well regarded by players, teammates, opposition, everyone in the cricketing world. And, I've got no doubt that he's going to do an amazing job, as he showed already that he can do. I think one of George's great strengths as a recent player is his communication. I know that he communicates frequently with all of the players in and around Australian squads. And, I know in the media that's been a real focus and a focal point for selectors and for criticism potentially in the past, but I haven't experienced that. And, from JL to George, communication's been really clear. And, I think the players like a selector who's recently out of the game, someone they know intimately. And, I think we're in good hands going forward.
Really good, mate. Just finally about this series, there's a suggestion that DRS might not be involved in it. Is it something you guys have kind of discussed?
We haven't discussed it at all. To be honest, I forget about DRS half the time until I caught one in the shin. But, it's something that, like being adaptable to conditions, will be adaptable to technology changes and anything that's thrown our way. So as long as it's even for both teams, we're not too worried.
Thanks, Louis. I noticed Mel's back on the line. Mel, do you want to throw a question in? No? Okay. I might ask one if you just keep looking forward to Louis. What are your hopes of making the World Cup squad?
Yeah, I guess every time that I'm around Australian squads, it grows that hunger to stay in the squad. It's an amazing place to be. I feel so fortunate to be able to represent our country, and, any opportunity I get, I'll try and grab it with both hands. And, a World Cup being a showcase event, I'd love to be involved, but I also know that there's a lot of quality players vying for a rigid amount of spots. So, it's up to me, and it's within my control how I play over the next couple of months. And, hopefully I can put my name in front of the selectors.
Do you think your bowling and particularly your bowling in the West Indies might go a long way to helping you?
Yeah, no doubt. I think every selector, every captain, every coach in the world wants players who can contribute in more than one facet. And, no doubt, captaining the Perth Scorchers, it's handy that I can bowl. Sometimes I'm looking around for another option, and can make my life easier. So no doubt, but more than that, I love bowling, and it's fun, and I enjoy being able to contribute out on the field. And if it helps me get picked in teams, then I'm happy about that too.
Looks like we've got Mel there now. Mel.
Yeah, mate. Sorry, I'm a bit of a Luddite, so I've missed half of this. Apologies. Ash, I just wanted to ask, have you guys been to the ground and had a look and had a train yet?
No, we haven't. We've been in isolation for our first 3 days here in Dakar, and we've got a session planned this afternoon. So some guys have been to the ground before on previous tours, and I'm not in that boat. So I'm looking forward to having a look at conditions, training, and preparing ourselves as well as we possibly can for our game on Tuesday.
Yeah, I was just wondering how the COVID protocols on this tour compared with the West Indies and say at home, but it's probably a bit early to sort of ask that, isn't it, if you haven't been to the ground and had a look around?
Yeah, ask me in a couple of days.
Okay, we'll do. Good luck, thanks.
Looking into part of that, Mel, as it is clearly quite a lot stricter, and here in Bangladesh we'll move around as in groups, and we're very, very limited to what we can do in and around the hotel and the ground. It'll essentially be dressing room, nets for training, and match ground, and that's it. Just straight on the bus after games.
Right, no worries. All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mel. Andrew McGlashan, you have another one?
Yeah, I just wanted, it's a slightly broader one on bubble life and stuff. And Ashton, you had to do, I think, a couple of extra stints in quarantine here in the summer due to WA's border and stuff like that. How are you finding it? I mean, what do you think is sustainable going forward for players in terms of what they're being asked to do at the moment in terms of hubs and things like that?
Well, I think first and foremost, you know, we feel very fortunate to be able to play cricket at all. You know, there's a lot of people in the world who are been more adversely affected than we have, and playing cricket is something we love and we're very fortunate to do. So we'd rather be doing this than not doing this. But you know, I think one of the great things to come out of the current climate is that the player wellbeing is at the forefront of everyone's minds, and you know, I think that players' voices are being heard, and everyone's getting an opportunity to voice their opinions, and you know, from just about every country around the world, and you know, we're seeing guys take some time away from the game, and you know, I think that can only be a good thing for the longevity of you know, the game, and it's going to mean that we have more players available and on the park than we otherwise would. You know, I think we have big touring squads for a reason now, and you know, I think that everyone in cricket wants the best for the game, and you know, I think we've been fortunate to have as much cricket played as we have done.
Thanks, Ashton. And Cole, can I just quickly check with you, mate? Is there any update on the guys who ended the Caribbean with a niggle or two, Ben and Riley?
Not as yet, Andrew, but tomorrow we should have a bit more information.
Cool. Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Mel, you have one to finish us off?
Yeah, I do, mate. Thanks. Apologies if this has been answered. If it has, I'll just pick it up on the recording when it comes through. But I just wondered, talking about player welfare, what did you think when you saw that Stokes had withdrawn from the England summer and the Test series?
Oh, as a cricket fan, I like to see the best players playing cricket at all times, and Ben's no different. From my time with him at Rajasthan in the IPL, you know, I know how good a bloke he is, but you know, I really respect the ECB's decision, you know, to grant him time away from the game. And you know, I don't know the situation at all of what's happening in his circumstances, but you know, I believe from afar that he's been given all the support that he can get, and you know, you'd rather see someone in his situation being able to make a decision to spend some time away than you know, to be forced into playing games that he doesn't want to play.